Okay, Jim. Jim, I gotta tell you. Okay, Jim, thank you. 7 rounds to 2. Gennady Golovkin. You know, Jim, I love that effective aggressiveness. Man, I love it when a guy backs the other guy up the whole fight. That's what Gennady's doing.
He had an encyclopedic knowledge of the sport that made him television's preeminent ringside rules expert.
Another low blow. Zeb should definitely take the 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, if Zeb Judah can't continue, he loses by abandonment. If that beard can cushion a punch, or if the beard can scratch the opponent, it's illegal.
And when the biggest controversies and memories cropped up, Harold was always there with perspective, reason, and explanation.
Unbelievable! Richard Steele stopped the fight with fewer than 5 seconds to go.
The last round is the only round that you can be saved by the bell. Had the judges had Taylor ahead on the scorecards, as we did, Taylor would have won the decision. Very interesting.
Galata has lost a second point, and Harold, what comes next?
The thing that comes next, without question, is a disqualification.
Manny Pacquiao was the aggressor all night. He set him up, and then he belted him with the left hand. I mean, that decision was a crime. Without question, Manny Pacquiao won the fight.
In his life away from the ring, he was a pharmacist, a loving husband to Eileen, a loving father to Julie and Iris. But ultimately, wherever you saw him, his passion for boxing enveloped him.
Just things that we picked up around the world.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Against the Ropes. I'm Gio Garcia. I'm alongside Christian Mosqueda, Christian Rodriguez. Episode 35.
Damn, already.
35. Welcome back. We do have a special guest today.
Yeah, we have one of Boxy's up and rising photographers, Mr. Luis Mejia. Welcome, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. Yeah, man, a lot to talk about, but let's start with you, man. Where did it all start? Let me ask you first, where did you start to take pictures, man? Where did it start?
Well, originally I started just taking photos, like landscape photos, things of that nature, just because I love taking photos. And I never really knew how to do it, like how to get certain shots with my camera, because I was always buying like the point and shoots. And it wasn't until my nephew, he brought over a DSLR and he took a shot of my daughter, and it blew me away, man, because there was just something totally different from the photo. You had like the depth of field, just the way the picture looked, it just blew me away. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, man, how did you get this shot? And he said, oh, well, it's a combination of the camera, the lens, and the settings on the camera. So I'm like, okay, well then, show me. So he showed me, and I mean, I think the next day I ordered the whole kit, like a camera, 2 lenses, memory card, and the whole 9, And then after that, I just started taking pictures, started practicing. The more and more I took photos, the better I got. And I guess it was just something that I had. People say that I have the eye, And I ended up buying a better camera because I was, everybody was always saying, oh, no, if you get a better camera, it's going to be, you're going to have better pictures and blah, blah, blah. So I did that. I bought a better camera. Yeah, my pictures were better, but I didn't realize that it wasn't so much the camera, but just learning the camera and the different combinations of the lens, the camera, and the settings. And from that point, people just started asking, like, hey, how much do you charge? And I'm like, I don't even know, because it never like occurred to me that I can make money from it, because it was just something that was more of a passion for me. And little by little, people were asking me if I can do their photo shoots, and I'm like, yeah, small little things here and there. I did like prom pictures, and then from there, I don't know, man. I ended up buying a pretty expensive camera, and I got my first opportunity through. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Front Proof Media. No, they're based in I think Miami or Florida, but. They put up a post saying, like, we're looking for videographers, photographers. And I sent them a DM. I said, hey, I've never done combat sports or boxing or anything, but I'm willing to learn because I love to shoot. And he responded, and he said, yeah, I'm gonna I guess I'm trying to think of the word, but he put me in contact with his West Coast guy, which is Danny Saldivar. He has the Last Round podcast with Michael Shepard.
Yeah.
And so I met up with him. He liked my work, and he's like, yeah, dude. He's like, you're legit, man. You know. He's like, I like your work. So I started working with him with the front proof, and then from there I kind of outgrew it and went and became a part of Supreme Boxing. So that's when I started really doing more and more shooting, and it just kind of just started snowballing, man. Like, you know, people were like, "Oh man, you're doing a good job, and then after that, I mean, it's been history, man." Like,
so.
But real quick, let me interrupt you because you do have a shout out from Beat the Count. He's on our Instagram
what's
live.
up, Sean? How are you?
Yeah, that's Sean. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was gonna say I was going through your Instagram and some of your pictures seem like they're more. You haven't covered the sport for too long, so I'm gonna ask. Did you follow boxing just recently? Was it something that you grew up in? Like you grew up, like maybe your parents, uncles, and like. Or is it relatively new for you?
Well, I've always kind of followed boxing, only because I mean I grew up in a Mexican family, you know, so I was always watching the Chavez fights and all that, you know, and I do remember one specific fight when I was younger. It was Costa Zoo versus Ricky. I think it was Ricky Hatton. Well, Ricky Hatton, I guess he kind of overpowered him and just beat him, you know, and as time went on, I saw a lot of politics, kind of like, you know, and I kind of pulled away for a while. Yeah. And I was always there. I was always aware of the fighters, you know, stuff like that. But I wasn't, you know, I'm not going to say I'm like, oh, I know every fighter or I know a bunch of stats and all that stuff. I don't. But I do love boxing. I love the sport in itself, you know, and combat sports in general. But yeah, just being able, like my goal was always to, like, after a while, my goal was to get into, you know, either boxing or MMA, something that had to do with the ringside, because that was my goal. Like, I wanted to shoot ringside. I love watching, you know, pictures in the magazines where you see all the sweat flying off and all that stuff. Like, that really intrigued me, and I figured, I'm like, if they can, if anybody else can do it, I mean, I know I can do it, because I feel I had, you know, at least the brains enough, you know, like the capacity, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So what was the first fight that you covered that you were like, oh man?
I think the first fights that I covered, well, the funny thing is that when I first started though, I didn't start off with like the small cars, like the Velasco stuff. Yeah. Like, I got thrown in, and my first press conference that I had to do was Adrian Broner versus Mikey Garcia. Hey. So everybody's like, dude, like, what the hell? Like, you're going from 0 to 100. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like,
mile 18,
right? So I was like, shit. I was like, you know, I started off, you know, I got thrown into the ocean instead of, you know, getting my feet wet. The one right after that was Canelo Triple G. Oh yeah. So everybody's like, dude, how the hell did you get in so fast like that? You know? And I guess it's just comes with time and just, you know what I mean, just my hustle, because like I always tell everybody that nobody really saw what I was doing, you know, before that. Everybody thinks that I got lucky, like, oh, you're lucky, you know, you got lucky because you got there. But I was telling other people that nobody saw, like, I mean, not nobody, but not too many people saw me, you know, walking around South Central or Los Angeles, you know, at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, you know, with a backpack full of camera gear. You know, I could have got mugged, you know, beat up, shot, stabbed, you know, all my gear stolen, you know, and I did it on a regular. I was shooting landscapes, you know, Long Beach, anywhere I can go. And I guess, you know, it got to a point where I was like, you know what, I was pushing for it. Like, I really wanted to push and get into like ringside and do big fights, but it wasn't until I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna hustle. I'm gonna allow my work to speak for itself. And it wasn't until then that everything just started breaking. You know, I started getting a bunch of opportunities, and here I am now. You know.
Were you nervous for that first fight? Were you like,
honestly, the first press conference, I wasn't nervous. I even got an interview with Mikey. I got an interview with Showtime's. I think it was a president at the time. I'm not sure. I can't remember his name, but I got an interview from him. And it was funny because I just saw Scott Hirano for Combate. He works with Combate Americas now, and he's the one that took the first shot of me there, like the first shot of me in media. He took it. Like I was interviewing Mikey, and he was behind me, and he took a picture of me interviewing Mikey. And I saw him at Combate Americas, and I'm like, hey man, I'm like, you took the first photo of me ever in media, like my first actual event. Yeah. You know, but no, I wasn't nervous, man. I wasn't nervous. I just, you know, I had a good group, you know, like you know, the guys at Supreme, you know, the people at Supreme, they're like, you know what, just have fun with it, you know, just enjoy it. You know, we all, you know, if you mess up, you mess up, you know, it's okay, you know. But you know, everybody was, I mean, up until this point, like everybody's been pretty much welcoming, man, and they're pretty cool. So I mean, there's really no nerves, man.
Yeah, you said that you obviously followed boxing because you know, grew up in a Mexican family. Obviously HBO was the big network that carried a lot of the boxing shows. We just had a loss.
Harold Lederman.
Yeah, Harold Lederman. We opened the show with some of his sound bites. Can you tell us a little bit what he meant? You know, I guess growing up, hearing his voice.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear every fight like that HBO had, or you know what I mean, like the fights you always hear 2-1, you know, and it was something that, yeah, you're gonna miss, man, like you know, because it's like a part of boxing, like goes away, you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, that's something that you hear that ding ding ding, like you always hear Harold Letterman, like that was one thing that you always heard, you know. So, it's that familiarity, right, something that you're just like, okay, this is kind of home. Yeah,
just
you always
that
associate
voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Chris, what were your thoughts when you heard that?
Probably the last straw of HBO, right?
Yeah, to me, I think you sent that out, right? The announcement, Chris, through our group message.
Yeah. And
I was like, no way. Yeah, it's just something that like you grew up with. You hear the voice. It's a sound of familiarity, and it's something that, you know, I don't know. I guess it's in like it sticks with you. You know?
Yeah. It's something that it's like the image when people ask you about boxing. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. You know, it's Harold Letterman, man. Because you know that what you know when there's a fight, like, oh well, what does Harold Letterman think?
Yeah,
like who's winning? Like you know what I mean? Even if you know people that don't know boxing or people that are just like the casual fans, after each round, where do they go? The Harold Letterman card. Yeah. You know, they say, okay, how does he see it? You know, so yeah, it's a big part that's going to be, you know, missed. You know.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that
about Harold Letterman? Yeah, I think it's at least for like our age, you know, our age group. It's kind of like part of boxing, right? Even now, when we hear a scorecard, we always kind of joke around, attention, right? So it's just, we grew up with that. I think to us, it was part of boxing, his voice.
Yeah, like with me,
yeah.
To me, like I always I gravitate. I don't know. To me personally, I gravitate to like the nice people, and I feel like you have that, bro. Like where you're like, I'm just a mellow guy. Like right. You know, people just bring drama. I obviously didn't know him personally, but like you just felt that kind of aura, that energy from him. He's always smiling, always happy, giggling. Like, oh, like there's like an action fight going on, and he's giggling. Oh, and he gives his thoughts. But again, he had this like this grandfather aura, and obviously he's, you know, from a different era. He grew up like with obviously old school boxing, so he knows so much.
Yeah, like my buddy said, he's on my live right now. He's saying it's a Vince Scully of boxing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and that's something you always remember because, you know, even as a kid, it's like I always hear that 2-1. You know, it's like it's stuck in your head, like no matter what. You know what I mean? And he looks like that cool person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's funny. It's crazy.
Yeah. They I read an article where they interviewed Jim Lampley earlier this weekend. He said that he, you know, Harold's voice is it's in comparison to Howard Cosell, and that it was like it identified with boxing. You heard that voice, you thought boxing,
right?
And so Yeah, I mean he's gonna be missed, man, for sure. He's gonna be missed.
Yeah, and you can tell when someone just enjoys what they do,
Yeah.
right? Every time you heard his voice or what he said, and kind of like when you watch HBO, you're like when you're watching the fight, you're kind of waiting for his scorecard, like you said, Luis. You're kind of just waiting for after like the third round. All right, when is Harold gonna come in? You know, it was one of those things. He was part of Showtime.
Right.
Essentially for us, like we grew up watching boxing on Showtime, so for us that was boxing. His voice was just part of it.
Yeah. To me, I think one of his, obviously you remember the OK Gym and all that, but his last fight, remember, with where he covered, one of his last fights where he covered the, I want to say, the Canelo Triple G, I think too. And they asked him how he had it, and it was such a close fight that he's like, I don't know. I don't even think I don't know.
That.
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Whatever, just enjoy.
That's when he knew he was just like, yeah, but I'm a great guy, man. Great guy. It's gonna be missed. He really did embody HBO, and I talk about it with these guys. Like, however you feel about HBO, subjective wise, like you could like it or not, but the quality was great. Yeah. The production value was great. You know, everything that they did, like they put together, it was professionally done. It was for a very long time, it was what other networks, you know, aspire to be. That was the cream of the crop. And so, yeah, it was, again, it's the people put together pieces that make this network.
I mean, everything, the commentators, I mean, everything, just the way they set it up from cameras to, I mean, everything, everything, you know, like the Zone right now needs to get that. They need to to get that blueprint from HBO and stuff, because, you know, just like Sergio Mora and the way they were doing it, man, I was getting annoyed, you know what I mean? And I was just like, man, like, you know, how many times is he gonna say he got beat up? Like, I felt bad, bro.
I was saying that that's the one he caught me with.
Yeah. It's like, bro, like, I would never admit that, bro. Like, you know what I mean, right? Yeah, bro. I wouldn't admit that shit.
That's your highlight.
We were joking so much about that. Like, hey, next time he says that, we're taking a shot, like every time, and we're gonna end up drunk.
Yeah, we switched it up from Against the Ropes to that's how he caught me, right?
Yeah, right. That's how he caught me. Yeah. That's funny, man.
No, again, back to your point of the Zone production. Yeah, like from the
double entrance for
double
Jacobs.
entrance. Yeah, we're like, oh my god, this is taking too long. Like, what's going on? Like, yeah, you saw the I guess you could say the lack of experience from the young, up and coming, obviously corporation or in the Zone. But yeah, HBO was. They set the bar, set the standard for how a boxing event should be put together.
Yeah, shout out to Luis on Instagram saying Lederman was the GOAT, or he was an icon.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
And to me, like, HBO was just entertaining.
Yeah,
it was entertaining. Like like you said, everybody has their biases or whatever comments they make, but if it's entertaining, like, who really cares, dude?
Yeah.
Like, they set it up to where everybody had their role, and they just complimented each other, right? Yeah. Everybody complimented each other.
Well, I mean, part of it comes down to HBO had its own standard because there was no other standard besides HBO, right? So even with Showtime, there was no characters because they were hardly even showing any boxing, right? So we can't like compare HBO to another organization because there was no such thing as another HBO.
Well, regular TV.
But that was like a long time ago, though.
Yeah, that was before
HBO. But going back to Ben Scully, I mean, I think that's part of the reason why, like, if you're a commentator, you try to put yourself in that type of standard, right? Ben Scully with the Dodgers, but
definitely
Harold Lederman, though, like, even when I think about people like from the PBC camp, like they had somebody named Larry Wizard or Hazard, I don't know, doing the rounds every now and then in this PBC card. And I was just thinking about Harold Lederman, how that's the standard.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you know what? I don't even think you can. It's kind of one of those things where there's just one. Because it's gonna sound weird. Somebody saying like another person's card.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is just kind of like, that's the pinnacle right there.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like, it's time for Dodgers baseball. What else are you gonna change it to? You
exactly,
can't. That's it. You know what I mean? So I think that's Harold Lederman card is it's like the
standard.
That's the standard, and
I felt weird when they were like, oh, now we're going to this unofficial. I was like,
it's unofficial.
Yeah, the unofficial. I was like, it's
and probably wrong.
90% of the time.
But yeah, not for the most part. I would say I feel like Harold's card usually when the judges had it wrong or the politics played in. I feel like he normally for the most part kind of had it the way the audience saw it. But
one thing I respect about Harold is that he has a daughter who's a judge too. Yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, Judy.
Yeah, I remember there was a time where he criticizes her own daughter too.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
dope, yeah.
So I'm like, yep, there you go.
That's true. Yeah, something with Harold, you're always gonna have at least his honest like view, whether maybe it's a little like I want to say maybe,
Yeah.
but at least he could back it up with what he sees with, as long as you could back it up. Again, judging is subjective, but if you could back it up, then you have your points. And so I feel like he, for the most part, always had he made good points. So yeah, will be missed.
But going back to your photography, when you're doing these photos, is there a type of like a angle that you want? Obviously, there's different angles, but like to tell a different story, right, from the boxer when they're training or when they're fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it may sound funny, but when I'm taking photos, it's whatever grabs me at that moment. Like, I'll see it. Like, it's not something that I plan. And that's the weirdest thing that's happened for me in my photography, because certain people want certain shots, right?
Yeah.
But I found it a little difficult only because I have a certain way that I shoot, that I try to be a little more candid and really get that emotion of the fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think my work reflects it, because it's not something that because I hate stuff that's fabricated. Like, I hate the show me your glove kind of shot. You know what I mean? Because I feel it's kind of, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I think there's too much of it.
Saturated, right?
Yeah. So I kind of like doing stuff that's more natural, a little more candid, and something that the fighter can take with him that represents him. You know what I mean? Like,
You seen the movie Get Out, right?
no, I haven't.
No, you haven't seen it. Well, anyways, he's a photographer. He has his own angle about how he looks at the world, and then they ended up taking his eyes later on in the future. But my thing is, like, has there been moments where, like, it becomes unreal taking these pictures?
Yeah. There's different like reasons. Like, one of them is, like, I sold a print to a friend of mine, and she was ecstatic, man. Like, to me, it was just a shot. It's just I took a photo of somebody, and it was it was a photo of Canelo, but it became surreal when, number one, when I showed it to her, and after, when she hung it up on her wall. Like, I was like, oh shit! Like, I think I made it. You know what I mean? The other thing is when I do these shoots, I mean, some people may think like, it's no big deal, but just being around them and being so close to them,
Yeah.
and then looking back behind me and all these people lined up behind a fence, not allowed to come in because,
Right.
number one, they don't know how, and number two, they're fans, but they're like, I've seen people cry, like, oh my god, like, they're like, they want to see these fighters, and I'm like, literally, I can like poke them if I want
Right.
to, like, you know what I mean? And I've been in the locker rooms with famous fighters, and people message me like, dude, like, like, I'll carry your bag, like, and that's and I mean, it's humbling, man. Like, I trip out because sometimes I don't see it as a big deal, I guess, because I feel like I'm normal and everybody's normal. Like,
Yeah.
we all bleed the same, but to some people they idolize these guys, and
Yeah.
when they see me take a selfie with them, they're like, dude, like, how the hell, like,
Yeah.
they
It's true.
you know what I mean? It's crazy, and it's cool. Like, it makes me feel good, man, because it's like, dude, like, I get to do something that not too many people can. And I not only that, but I put in the work, and I've hustled my butt off to create something that people actually can appreciate. You know
Do
what
you
I mean?
ever feel like you don't get credit? Because, like, I notice the photos because, like, let's say when I'm editing the videos or editing the thumbnails, like, I try to look for the cool pictures, right? But at the end of the day, I don't know the name of the person who's taking it, the picture, right? So do you, like, for example, the Ali picture with Sonny Liston standing over him. Like, how many of us actually know the name of the person who took that photo, right? And that's like in posters, T-shirts, you know. So do you ever feel like you don't get like credit for your work, perhaps?
Actually, it's a good thing that you say that, because now that you mentioned that, it makes me feel better, because I've had people DM me and tell me, hey, is this your photo? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, it is. And they're like, oh, okay, because somebody's using it and they didn't tag you. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, it's flattering, you know what I mean? Because I just trip out, because, I mean, that's my intention at the same time, to produce something that nobody else has.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, to set myself aside from everybody, you know what I mean? So, I mean, for people to see my work and know that it's mine, I love it, bro. Like, that's to me, that's like the best feeling. If you know, I have been doing this for a while for free, and that alone right there is more fulfilling than a dollar. You know what I mean? So, I mean, just knowing that somebody recognizes my work, and people have come up to me and said, "Hey, man, are you so and so?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I feel weird, because I'm like, "Who are you?" You know what I mean? I'm like, "Who are you?" You know, but they're like, "Yeah, you know, I've seen your work."
Yeah, because you don't even have. We're looking at your Instagram right now. You don't have many pictures of you. It's just the pictures that you take, right?
And that's good.
Yeah,
and that's only a little bit of the photos I have, man. Just in my phone alone, I probably have 20,000.
Yeah. So some people are asking, what was your favorite picture that you've taken? You probably have tons, but the ones that come to mind.
I think there's like, off the top of my head, I think there's maybe 4. One of them is a photo I took with Miguel Cotto. I don't know. I think I just showed you guys a little bit ago. One of them was that one, the Miguel Cotto one. Another one was the photo I took with Ryan Garcia and Carlos Morales. I think it was the 6th or 7th round.
The one where Ryan's getting punched?
Yeah.
Yeah, send me that one later.
Send it to Rolly.
And these are some of the ones you took, right?
Yeah.
For people to see.
And, but yeah, there was that one. There was one with Sanisa Estrada. I forgot the girl's name that she was fighting, but it was like an awesome left hook that she threw, and just it was like, I don't know, everybody who sees that, they're like, man, that's an awesome photo.
When you capture the photo, do you know it right away that this is a great photo, or do you just kind of go back later on that day, or maybe the next day, or like, this was great?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll be shooting, I'll go click, and then I'll be like, I got it, and I just keep going, you know. Sometimes I'll take it, and then if I think I got it, then I'll stop, and I'll push the thing on my camera to see if I caught it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, I feel it. Like, if I got it, yeah. And I'll
do you ever get that feeling where you're like, that one's like whatever picture, but then you go back to it and you're like, this was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
All the time, right?
Dude, all the time, man. Like, and it's funny because it happened recently with Saul Sanchez.
Yeah.
Like, I was shooting and I was just like, damn, man. I was like, I don't think I got any good ones this time for some reason, because the way I was backed up into the corner, there was a stairs right there, so I couldn't really get a good position. And I was like, damn. I was like, I don't think I got anything
like you
good.
missed that.
Yeah, I was like, man, I don't think I got anything good. But then I got a couple photos, and one of them looks like he literally knocked his soul out, dude. Like, you couldn't see his eyes. Like, it was crazy, bro. I was like, damn. But it's a trip, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, some of these pictures are amazing, man. Like, insane. Like, I feel like you see some like an emotion,
right?
Just from like this one picture. This one, I don't know who this fighter is, but UFC gym. He has his medicine balls. He's looking down. I just feel like that's he's just imagining like putting in the work. Like,
right.
I don't know. It's pretty insane, man.
For those listening live, where can they follow you?
Al Mejia Photography on Instagram. I think it's OD Wheelman on Twitter. Luis Mejia on Facebook. And I think that's it.
Yeah, so check out some photos. I'll put all the links in the description as well, and on this visual, on the videos. Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff, man. Because nobody thinks about the photographer, right?
Right.
You guys have an important role, like.
Yeah. Right.
For.
Well, that's what I was I was gonna say too is you can follow me on Combat Sports Collective.
Yeah, can you talk about that
on Instagram?
Your business?
What that is a couple of us, we've created like a team where we have a strength and conditioning coach. Me as a photographer, we'll have an assistant coach also that helps with the strength and conditioning coach. And what we do is we're starting to. What my idea was to try to change boxing in general, and from different perspectives, I guess you could say. Part of it is my buddy Andy Aguilar, who's at the Fitsmith, at the _Fitsmith on Instagram, and what he does is his training is on a whole different level. It's everything is calculated, everything is measured, and it's proven. And we have several fighters that we've been training: Leo Santa Cruz, Ivan Redcatch, David Benavides, Jose Cepeda, Panchito El Centenario, Jaime Munguia, Andy Reese was there for a little bit, Aaron Alameda, Chris Zavala, my little monkey Ayana Verduzco, right hook Roxy. She's my Libra twin.
She was on Beat the Count, right? Was
Yeah,
that her?
she was on Beat the Count.
A couple weeks ago.
And
Shout out to Beat the Count, and he's getting all these free promos.
Sean, yeah. What's up, Sean? And also, we're training La Cobra Ruiz right now.
Hey.
She's gonna be fighting June 15th on the Red Boxing Promotion
yes,
card.
sir.
I've talked to her a couple times already, and she's loving the training. She's saying she's faster, stronger. I don't want to put too much out there because I don't want her opponent to get scared. But
Pull out.
You know what? Can I talk about that a little bit? Because I did ask people on Instagram to send us questions or comments or whatever they wanted. HDZ Boxing hit us up, telling us about the fight, right?
Right.
You said it was June 15th. Is that correct?
Yes, June 15th. Yeah, his name is Ramiro with HDG Boxing and Apparel. He actually does our apparel for us too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're actually there for Ruiz's debut.
Yeah, we were. We called her fight.
Well, that was my very first show.
Yeah.
We do a ringside commentary as well.
Right.
So that time I was at the Quiet Cannon.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that was her debut.
Yeah.
That time. But she will be fighting June 15th.
Was that the knockout that you guys saw last time?
No, that was
another one.
Yeah, that was another one. But her opponent, Mirka Aguayo, is 2-0. Right. So Adelaida Ruiz is 7-0 with 4 knockouts, undefeated, and she's fighting an undefeated boxer as well. Yeah, and Adelaida's from LA, so LA stand up, support.
Yeah. Right.
You can follow her at La Cobra _Ruiz, and also HDZ Boxing.
And Jerry, you have a lot of high praise for her, huh? She's like one of your favorite fighters that we've.
She's probably my favorite fighter that I've seen from All Star Promotions. Those fights.
Yeah,
you can feel her presence. Her presence is felt when she's in the ring. Clearly.
Yeah, to me, she's just entertainment. Like
and she's very technical. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say normally, entertainment.
Technical fighters, you wouldn't think of them as like knockout artists, but it seems like any punch that she throws, she can get you out.
Yeah, there's a purpose to those punches.
Yeah, no, to me, I say entertainment because like she gets. Obviously, she has the whole home crowd, like
ring entrance
to like what she does inside the ring. It's just, yeah, man.
Well, just wait till you see her on June 15th,
right?
And that's just the beginning. Because this is her first camp with us, and she's already making a lot of progress.
What's one of the things that you guys focus on, the training?
Well, there's a lot of like balance, cognitive response, speed, strength. I mean, you name it, man. Everything from the fast twitch muscles. I mean, it's a different level, bro. The reason, like one of the big reasons we started the Combat Sports Collective is because it's not just strength and conditioning, but if you really look at boxing, there's really not a lot of appreciation for the strength and conditioning coaches, for the photographers, the media, and things and those areas.
Yeah.
And I want to change that because if you don't have, like, say for example, like he was saying about the Muhammad Ali shot. If there was no photographer there to take that shot, who's gonna know that it happened? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Media, if media wasn't there to know it either, they would know nothing. Nobody would know anything about any of these fighters, even fighting. On top of that, and then the strength and conditioning part. Do you want the same types of fights as you did back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or do you want to take it to a whole new level and have explosive fights? And more interesting, more technical, more, you know what I'm saying? Like, you change the game. Like, if you can change those aspects, the way people see these areas, it's going to change boxing, and that's what I want to do.
I think that's what we want to do. Interesting, because back then it was 15 round fights, right? And you would think that they weren't as prepared as athletes today. So I think that's where athletes nowadays have a huge advantage.
Right.
Just you talking about all the things that they do. Of course, you're not going to disclose every single thing they do, right?
Right,
So you're going to have to tune in and watch.
Right.
But yeah, we do have a question from Sean, Beat the Count. On average, how many photos do you take per fight? Is it just a few hundreds?
Originally, it's funny because originally it was one of those pray and spray. And that's what they call it when you shoot ringside. They say, "Oh, what are you doing?" You just hold the button, just you know what I mean. But it got to the point now where
here we go.
right, yeah. But now it got to the point where it's more of my camera allows me to hold it away from my face, and what I do is I'm looking at the fighter and simultaneously looking at my camera, so I can make sure I have the fighters in the bracket, right? But I watch for shoulder movements. I watch for, habits or
there has to be patterns, right?
Patterns.
Where you see the fight going somewhere.
Yeah, you can tell when a certain fighter has like a certain twitch or something where it's constant. Boom, boom. You already know they're gonna throw the right, or you see the foot movement where they move a certain way. You already know they're gonna throw a left hook or something. You know what I mean? So it gets to that point. If the fight goes long enough, I'll start catching on to the patterns, and I'll start, I'll be able to see, okay, he's going to throw this and that, and then I'll just watch it, and I'll just boom. And I'll get, 3 to 5 shots, and out of those 3 to 5, I'll get at least 2. The one before and the one when it hits,
What do you do with the ones you don't use?
I actually, so far, I've actually been storing them until I got to erase them all. But, you know what I mean? Because sometimes, sometimes you see something, and it don't look like anything. But then you go back, and then you're like, oh shit, I didn't see this the first time, So that's why I kind of save them until I start deleting them little by little.
Do you focus just on the fighters, or do you look at the background too, like crowd reaction, the referee, perhaps the judges?
Well, I'll do sometimes I'll do, because in photography it's called the rule of thirds. So you have the left, the middle, and the right. So sometimes I'll have, like I'll catch the fighters on the left, and then I'll see the ref, and if he's in proximity, and if it makes the photo look nice, I'll throw the ref in there. But if not, I'll just cut him out, or But yeah, I look for that. It's funny, but it doesn't seem like there's enough time, but I do think of that, even their feet placement and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm my head's like you know what I mean. It's going pretty.
You ever
fast.
been like in a situation where you were sleeping in the job? Like you're watching the fight instead of taking pictures because you're
you can answer that off air if you want.
We all sleep in the job.
Fall asleep on the job, no, but get caught slipping a little bit. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I've kind of caught myself where I'm looking through my photos, and the round it'll start, and I'll be like, oh shit, and and that happened with my older camera, because my older camera, it takes a little while longer for my photos to transfer, so I was getting caught kind of in between the rounds, or not in between the rounds. During the round, I was trying to load a shot just so I can post it and send, Yeah. But now I got to a point where I just wait till the round is over, and then I'll just take my time. Yeah, and I'll just post them after.
I know there's usually other photographers there. Are you guys always like in competition for that money shot? Like, oh, who got the shot of the night? Or
no, for the most part, I've had a little instances where they kind of trying to push you a little bit, or they kind of try to get in the way, or they'll move their stickers from like if there's like a I think it's like that piece that holds the ring in the middle. Yeah, there's 3 of them. I've seen people where they move their sticker from one side to the other just so they're not in the way of that, so that way it's not in their way when they're shooting. But for the most part, now that I've been there for a while, now they kind of recognize. They know who I am, so they're they're not jerks no more,
Not no more.
Right? Because it's just like everything, if
you know what I mean.
Basketball, no.
No, you don't know how to box out. Like you have to move your hips.
Oh, I don't. I'm a pretty big dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't have that problem.
I'm a big guy. I just
get out. Just open my back up a little, just kind of push it to the side,
Do you look for a specific spot around the ring when you're taking these photos?
Sweet spot.
Yeah, if I don't have a spot already, I try to find
people.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, who's here? They'll be like, oh, nobody's there. All right, cool. And I'll put my, I'll put something there. I'll put my bag there, or my camera or something. But yeah, you always try to because you have your A side and your B side.
Right, I was
You
just
know what I
gonna
mean?
say,
So
like, stay in
it-
the right corner.
You know, you always stay on the A side, so that way, or not on the A side, but you always stay where you can shoot the A side. But for the most part, I shoot both fighters anyways. You know what I mean? Just because.
You're in a neutral corner.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, because you know what? Sometimes like look at these fights that have been upsets.
Yeah,
And you know, what if I'm only shooting for the A side and then the B side knocks them out? Then you're like, shit.
Damn,
now
I
you
feel
ain't got
stupid.
now you ain't got the shot.
Disrespectful.
Right? So I try to be unbiased. You know, I've actually had that happen where I was shooting for both fighters that were fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so awkward. I was like,
It
shit.
was weird.
Yeah, it was so funny that I was praying for a draw. And it ended up a draw. Yeah, it ended up a draw. It was.
There you go.
I was shooting for that day. I was shooting for Jose Gonzalez versus Ivan Delgado,
Okay.
and I was like, "Damn, that sucks," because I'm basically shooting for both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, "You know what? I hope it's a draw."
Yeah.
And sure enough, it ended up a draw. So I'm like,
There you
"Sweet!"
go.
I didn't have to
Sweet.
feel awkward. You know what I mean? It's funny,
It's like this side makes you look good, but you know what? I got some
right?
other-
Yeah. And I got shots for both, so it's
Yeah.
cool. You know, it's pretty dope.
I know you mentioned some, but for those who haven't seen your work, can you tell them or tell us what are some of the biggest fights you've been part of? I think you mentioned Canelo Triple G.
Well, I wasn't able to shoot those. The bigger ones, like Jaime Munguia. I shot Cepeda versus Ramirez. Who else? Like Sinisa.
Do you just try to
Marlon.
do it like LA area, or do you?
I mean, I've been.
Go
I've
elsewhere?
actually went all the way to Culiacan and shot Omar Chavez. Yeah. You know, thanks to my buddy Angel and OSCB Boxing. I was working with them, and he flew me out to Culiacan, and I shot Zulem Urbina out
Nice.
there, Omar Chavez, Roca Campa. So it was pretty cool, man. It was badass.
Are there any fighters that you haven't covered yet that you want, like, that's your dream, like, fighter to cover or a match?
I mean, only because of, I guess, like to have the you know how you have that legacy kind of thing.
Yeah.
I
Your
mean,
belt.
yeah, just like Canelo, you know, the
Okay.
Canelos. I would, you know, if there is a Canelo Triple G #3, I would love to shoot that. Like Jaime Munguia, you know, maybe Barbosa, you know, but yeah, like Lomachenko maybe, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, do you get to enjoy the fights at all?
Hmm.
Because you're technically at work, and you're kind of watching it through a lens most of the time, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, that's the interesting thing is that with my camera, since I can pull it away from my face, I get to enjoy it. I get to watch it, and I give it, you know, so it's pretty cool. I see a lot of photographers, they have the camera on their eye,
Yeah.
so they don't get to do nothing but see it through the lens. You know what I mean? And my camera allows me to actually pull it away. I've actually got shots where my camera is literally next to the ref, inside, and people are like back here.
You
Because
ever get hit? Kicked?
He's like, I got a chin.
Shit, I've actually got hit probably like 3 times already. Yeah, you know what I mean. But it comes with the territory. Now, I mean, if it's gonna allow me to get the shot, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'll buy another lens cap or something. You know what I mean? Who cares,
He took the shot.
right?
Take the shot.
Yeah, I got kicked. I got my lens thing flew off. Like
Oh, man.
the fighter, I guess. Because you know the ropes usually block, you know,
Yeah.
kind of from your foot to come out. But this guy, I guess, was at a weird angle, and he literally kicked his foot almost. If had my camera, my arm not been there, he would have probably his leg would have fell off the ring, and that would have been bad for him. But my lens cap flew. I don't know where the hell. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, where'd it go? You know, so I had to go find it. You know, but yeah, I mean, I've been hit.
That reminded me of it was at Elida Reese, right, when she almost knocked the other girl out the ring.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if it was the photographer. I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that older gentleman?
Yeah.
Kind of standing next to us. He had to catch her because she almost fell off the ring.
Yeah.
So Adelaida knocked her out, and she kind of almost fell off the ring.
Damn.
And the guy had to catch her. Yeah, it was pretty insane.
Well, hopefully that happens on this next one, because I'm gonna be shooting that too.
Yeah, that should be good.
That's the other thing too, is that right now I'm basically a part of Red Boxing promotion. So I'm gonna be the photographer for the venue, and from what I hear, I'm gonna be in charge of the credentials for the photographers around the ring.
Hey, there you go.
So I'm making my way little by little.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
at Pico Rivera, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
June 15th.
Are they gonna be televised at all or anything? Facebook Live?
I think
YouTube
they'll probably
Live?
be Facebook Live,
Yeah.
and I think a couple other people I think might have like a Facebook Live or something.
Yeah, if you have the link later on, just
Yeah,
or
for
the
sure.
page. We can promote that as well.
Definitely. Yep.
All right. So we had some big fights this weekend, right, Chris?
Which one?
Which one? You want to start with I guess you want to call it an upset?
For what?
Jared Hurd.
I don't know if I would.
I don't think I don't want to call it an upset, but I mean, you clearly knew who the favorite was, and you kind of knew.
Yeah, he was favored a lot in the odds. That's why you don't pay
Yeah.
attention to those things, right?
Mhm.
But real quick, before we go to those, just the schedule for the upcoming Saturday, May 18th, ESPN Plus, Stephen H. England, Billy Joe Saunders going to make his debut at 168 against Shefat Isufi.
And that's for the official WBO belt too.
Yeah.
Official,
Doing
not
that.
interim, because
Mhm.
Doing
Ramirez vacated the
Yeah.
belt officially.
So they got upgraded, man. Lucky for them. Showtime, Deontay Wilder against Dominic Brazil. We'll give our predictions in a little bit.
Oh, I can't
but
wait.
That should happen.
Till this day.
New York, Showtime. Gary Russell's making his comeback against Kiko Martinez. Kiko, we saw him lose before to Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And remember, you guys got to watch Gary Russell Jr. because he only fights once a year. So this is your only time.
Damn.
And his two younger brothers, Gary Russells, they're also going to be fighting. So Gary Antonio Russell and Gary Antoine Russell.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Glasgow, Scotland. We're going to have some World Boxing Super Series from the Zone.
Oh, yeah.
The most noticeable fight, Emmanuel Rodriguez, I believe he's Puerto Rican, undefeated against Naoya Inoue. Semifinals. That should be good, man. 2 undefeated fighters. I think it's a big step up for Inoue in terms of competition, right? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, we're going to give our predictions for that in a little bit.
Yeah, don't hold your
But
breath.
I think on that card you also have Baranchik taking on Josh Taylor with
Yes.
Freddie Roach in that
That's gonna
corner.
be war.
Yeah, that's
main
gonna be a
event.
good one.
War.
Yeah.
That's
gonna
fight
be
of the week.
All right, so where are we at? Jared Hurd against Julian Williams.
Yeah, I have a
J-Rock.
problem with Swift, man. You ever? When was the last time you guys sparred before, or you guys ever fought somebody? Now I'm talking about like your body stance
At the park.
at the park. What's wrong with Swift's body stance when he fights?
He's just like
His stomach
straight.
is sticking out.
yeah, his stomach. He's not on the side. So
Yeah, his stomach is sticking out, and his stomach is not sticking sideways.
His chin is
Luis,
sticking out.
did you watch this fight? Did you have a chance to see Jared Hurd versus
I saw a little bit, yeah.
You saw a little bit?
I saw a
Okay.
little bit. I saw him get bopped in the head, and
Yes,
Uh-huh.
a
Don't
lot
know.
of times.
yeah, he got,
Yeah. All right, back to you, Chris.
No, Swift deserves this loss.
Yeah, the thing with
All right, so real quick, that fight was live from Virginia, right? So it was for the IBF.
Where in
IBO,
Virginia?
WBA. Doesn't matter.
There you go. Why does it matter?
Fairfax, Virginia.
it was lowly. That's all.
No, because it's right next to Jared Hurd's hometown.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the better man won that
props
fight.
to
dude.
yeah, props
Yeah.
to Julian
Yeah.
Williams for doing
Yeah.
that in his backyard.
Mhm.
But that was for the 3 titles. Julian Williams was 26-1. Hurd was 22-0. But I'm not that surprised though.
From Swift's body stance, how he fights, nah.
I'm not surprised that he lost.
In fact, he was
Yeah.
actually losing the fight on December 1st against Jeff Wellborn.
Oh yeah.
If you look at that fight, he was losing the first 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're talking about it. I was actually on Beat the Count's last podcast. He was just kind of doing like a test run. He was doing call-ins.
Mhm.
So he had a short little podcast,
Mhm.
and I called in, and we're actually talking about that. He's there to get tagged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He took a lot of punches in his last fight, and in this one, Williams just looked well prepared.
Yeah. I was just adding to that. Yeah, Hurd is no secret that he doesn't have the best defense.
No, he doesn't.
You know, that's
what
no,
defense you talking
yeah,
about?
no, yeah. Like it's funny because we were just talking about Canelo's amazing defense, and now like we have a fighter that needs to work on that, and he's been tagged before by Wellborn, who's not near that level, and
He was fighting like he still has shoulder surgery.
yeah. And so not a lot of defense. I knew coming in he was gonna get tagged. I just didn't know how sharp Williams was. He was always like first to the punch. All his punches were. We talked about clean punching. The clean punching was coming from J-Rock Williams, and he just wanted it. I don't want to say he wanted it more, but like it showed that
He
how
came,
bad.
yeah, he came
Yeah.
to fight, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's usually sometimes. I mean, well, usually sometimes doesn't make sense. Huh? But usually the more hungry fighter is the one that takes him, man. Because
Yeah.
you got some fighters that don't, they think that just because they got a certain name in boxing that they don't have to come prepared. You know what I mean? And there's a couple fighters that are like that, and this it showed, man. Like that, just because you're an underdog don't mean anything. You know what I mean? I mean, you're still in the same ring. You know, and you got a boxer's chance. You know. So,
and the person I give credit to this fight is Al Heyman, because he was talking about it after the fight how nobody was giving him a chance until Al Heyman came into the play. And even we didn't even get a prediction regarding Swift Hurd and Julian Williams. That's how disrespectful we were last week.
No, you're right. You're right.
You know who else is fighting? He's also with he's with Combat Sports Collective and Strength and Conditioning. Is Jose Cepeda's fighting May 18th in Mexico City.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Be on the lookout for that. Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't get robbed again.
These boxing politics, right? Oh man.
Sometimes you gotta know which judges you have to pay.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta take that fight into your own hands and make it very convincing. Because this was a great example of how you take it away from a champion. He just bullied him, beat him.
He took the crowd
from round
convincingly beat him
from round 1
to 12th. Yeah, I think I was looking back at that 12th round. That was just making that statement where he just bullied him. Obviously got the better of the exchanges, and Williams left nothing to doubt. If they would have given that fight to her, that's where you would have screamed robbery.
Yeah. So 2 115s, 112s, and then 116, 111. So it was a pretty good margin of victory for Williams. But since round 1, he got the knockdown pretty early on in the fight, and he kept it going. A lot of fighters would have kind of took that
as a win already. They they would have just kind of let off the gas,
take that foot off the gas pedal, and just kind of
just coast,
survive. Coast if you can say the next rounds, knowing that they already got that slight advantage, right? But he kept it coming.
Yeah.
My question is, who deserves the nickname Swift now, Danny or Swift Hurd?
Neither.
Right.
There's nothing swift about their styles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, this is the first time that Hurd has been knocked down too, right?
Yeah, first time. First time, kind of surprised by that.
A lot of firsts. Right, for getting tagged so much?
Yeah.
It's the first time that he gets dropped.
And I'm kind of surprised there was only one knockdown in this fight, too.
Well,
he was taking a lot of leather.
Not only that, the trainer was actually thinking about stopping the fight, in the 9th round. And the cut man, they messed up. They put so much Vaseline on his eye that he couldn't fight for 20 seconds.
Yeah,
you saw that
was
part?
that
and my mind,
round?
what are you doing?
And they kept doing that after.
He was like,
every round.
Yeah, there was a round where J-Rock just went off on him because he saw
he
that.
saw it,
You know
saw
what that reminded me of? Weren't we talking about that one time, about the all-star boxing fights, how some of them don't have, legit cornermen?
Yeah, I'm the corner man sometimes.
So it's that reminded me of that, too, because it's a championship fight.
Yeah.
And it's, even when, I think we brought it up because Anthony was talking to us about it, how they wouldn't have the water ready, they wouldn't have the stool ready when he's, trying to sit down.
I'm going to make sure I bring Vaseline in June 8th.
That's frustrating, man.
Yeah. I mean, as a fighter, you just want to be concerned about fighting, not what your corner is doing or putting on your face or his tape was coming off after every punch he threw.
Or singing in the ring, too.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to France. He's joined us on the
Hey, France.
Instagram Live. But that's a good win for J-Rock Williams. I think they're going to run it back.
Win.
Yeah, I love what he said at the end after the fight in his post-fight interview.
Oh, yeah.
He talked about how in boxing, especially nowadays with the hype and social media, how once a fighter loses, they're discounted.
Not even that. He was talking about the fact that he isolated his ass from everybody, from his family, his friends, everything, social media. Being in that type of state and training, that tells you a lot about his character and how he actually deserves it. Even before he actually even stood in the ring, he actually deserves the win just because of that.
Yeah. Dude, you saw his reaction, once he was announced as a victor, he
cried, right?
Went on his knees, cried, he yelled out because just that excitement. Because at the end of the day, you never know. You never know with these boxing politics, with these judges. You just
because Hurd was making it close at the in the second half. It's not like it was a blowout, but every time he was making it close, he would take a big punch from Williams.
I think that's probably why he was more emotional than anything, because he probably figured, damn, I didn't expect to win. You know what I'm saying? You're in the guy's backyard and you win, it's shit.
But and he got knocked out in his last, well, his fight against the Charlo. So that's when people were kind of like write him off. And I think that's why he showed support for Harrison too.
Yeah,
I think he said Harrison was gonna beat Charlo again, and then they're gonna try to unify the belts there.
Psych.
Yeah, that's the thing with with boxing. Like people discount these contenders, and they're the ones that are gonna work just as hard because they obviously don't have that name. They don't have a lot of the support, the backing, the sponsors. So they gotta work extra fucking hard, you know. And so when they do get that one shot, man, they're gonna leave it out. And obviously, you brought up Harrison. That was,
And see, and that's the thing that's the thing that I bring with Combat Sports Collective. Us as a team, it's like it's not just, oh, I'm gonna do your strength and conditioning, or I'm just gonna take your pictures. Like, nah, we're a team, bro. Like we carry you. We try to, emotional support, any kind of support we can. Like, you know what I mean? I tell everybody, is like it's something different, bro. Like, you don't just show up and you're like kind of like a number. Like, oh yeah, here, you're training today. Like, no, like I try to find like extra sponsorships, or how to put these fighters in different areas of media, Instagrams, have everybody tag the fighters. I mean, it's constant movement, man. Constant content, constant movement, and it's try to help these fighters come up, because some like a lot of the fighters, like the smaller fighters that people don't know about, we're like a kind of like a one-stop shop, where if you show up and all you have is your boxing skills, we're there to support. Like, hey, I'll start doing your photos. We'll start placing you on Instagrams, Facebooks. We train you up, with your strength and conditioning, get you up to speed with, faster, stronger. You know what I mean? And we create that image for you. You know what I mean? We provide, we're gonna start providing, the gear for the fighter, so that we, when it comes time to come in the front of big promoters, they're gonna be like, oh shit, who is this guy? Like, he has a following, he has a team. I mean, he's repping a brand. Like, who is this kid? You know what I mean? So when you have that versus not having anything,
and that's good, because like the fighter, he has to fight, right? And to take that off his back, do all of his sponsorships and all that, because he's his own brand, Too much time, though.
So Alfonso Gomez brought that up last time when he was on our show, that a fighter's his own business. He has to, like you said, Chris, like, not just fight, but he has to market himself.
Well, I think it's even on the legal side, it's like a 1099, right? Like, as a fighter, you're a 1099. So it's like, shit. Like, if you're already your own business, like, you know what I mean? It's like, so you have to kind of see it like that.
Yeah, I want to say
1099.
Right?
I'm gonna start saying that.
Yeah, like before, back in the day, network, there was less channels. Now there's so many channels, cable, so it's like everybody has an option to see something else. Right. Different sports. So it makes it it makes it harder for a boxer to, go through the cracks and stand out.
Right.
And so now, you do, in this age, need help to market yourself, to
everything,
make your brand.
Everything is social media, man. Everything is social media. And, that's where I come in on the photo side, because if I'm there to do your photos, you have something to post.
Yeah.
And if people like you, look at speaking of that, I went and I shot Sean Garcia, Ryan's brother. I one of my shots, I looked and I checked, it was like 14,000 likes. People saw 14,000 people saw my photo. But it was constant content for him to post.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's why we got in contact through actually one of my friends, which is Gloria Mosqueda.
Oh, that's my last name.
She's at the Olympic Training Center right now.
Okay.
So
it's not a common last name, bro. It's not a common.
Dude,
he said my last name like 4 times throughout the show already.
Man,
come
everybody named Garcia is either a fighter.
Like, he's Sean Garcia, Ryan Garcia. Come on.
Who's
Mikey Garcia?
Who's Ino fighting this?
Ino?
Yeah. Rodriguez. You didn't see me all Rodriguez.
Oh, that's mine. That's like common last names, guys.
We gave you a hard time, Chris.
If anybody has heard their last name throughout this show, write it down in the comment section in honor of Mosqueda.
Right.
Let's just say Garcia. That's a million of them right there.
Like everybody's like, check.
Man. But yeah, I mean, she's been a great asset. The whole team, man. The whole team is they've all been. It's more of like it's not even like really a team. It's just like everybody kind of already knows what we like, what to do. Like, it's not like, oh, I gotta tell, hey, go do this for this, or go do that for that. Like, we all kind of just working cohesively.
You know your roles.
We know our roles, and then, you know what I mean. And it's.
How many people are on your team for combat sports?
Well, right now, it's my buddy Mark Sandoval. You guys can see him on Combat Sports Training, I think, on Instagram, combat_sports training. Andy Aguilar, which is the _Fitsmith. Our PR girl is Erica Sandoval, Mark's sister. Our CFO is Steve Oliveros at Oliveros 13, I think it is, on Instagram. And then myself. And then Gloria Mosqueda. She's kind of been a really big part of our group. And then as funny as it may sound too, recording artist Martin Castillo, he's been like a real, he's been a catalyst for a lot of this. You know, he's been real supportive of us. But I mean, it's, if I, you know, I'm sorry if I didn't mention everybody, but we've been all just like a family, man. Like we've seen each other's visions of what we want to do, and everybody's just carrying it out as much as good and as much as they can, you know. So it's been awesome, man. It's been skyrocketing like crazy, man. Our stuff's everywhere. Yeah. Also, shout out to Islo Stacks, David Guerrero. Anybody's last name Guerrero? No, just kidding.
Yeah. Hey, trust me, we're gonna carry that next week too. Right? But today's last name. Yes.
But yeah, man. I mean, a lot of people they've been really supportive, man, and you know, it's all love, man. Like, you know, like it's been awesome. Like we're all blessed, you know what I mean, to have what we have so far, and to come as far as we have in just such a short period of time. Yeah, and it's just growing, man. It's awesome, dude. You know.
Just real quick, I want to move on to this topic because we had a question on Instagram from Mr. Alex Fernandez. You know, we're talking about the teams and exposure. He asked, who is the face of USA Boxing? Just off the top of the head, who is it?
USA Boxing as in fighters?
Fighters that were born in the USA.
Right now?
Like current, right?
Yes. Okay. Quick.
Who comes to mind? Was Right Hook Roxy. Ayana Verduzco, number one in the world, female.
Comes to mind.
Deontay Wilder.
Who comes to mind?
I can't really say anybody in particular, but Ryan Garcia.
No,
future face of boxing.
Yeah, that's a future. I think if I had to pick, I would say Errol Spence.
Oh, well, you said USA Boxing.
Yeah.
You mean like Olympics, or you mean like
born in the U.S.?
Oh, just born in the
professional boxing. No, you can say, hey, free promo for her.
Well, no. Well, because she's number one in the world.
Yeah,
for female boxing and Olympic trials and Olympics. You know what I mean? So, no, she's a badass, man. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I saw her episode on Beat the Count.
Yeah, dude.
Her mom, right?
Yeah, she's the one. Her mom's the one that's in at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. And then I saw Anthony Herrera. We're going to be working with Anthony Herrera, getting him prepped up and ready to break somebody's face.
Change that face.
Right.
So
rearrange it.
Errol Spence, I can see that.
I mean, by default, there's nobody else.
So Terrence?
Let me ask you something. What about
Did you see his pay-per-view numbers for the last fight?
Who?
Terrence Crawford.
He's saying that Terrence is not the face of boxing.
We'll talk. Nobody cares about Terrence Crawford right now. But Hariko, what about from the casual perspective? Who's the American boxer?
That's why I was like,
you got to take every perspective into.
From the casual,
that's what I'm casual.
From the casual, you would have to go with Ryan because nobody really knows Errol outside of people that know boxing.
So the casual fan, yeah. Well, he's like the face of boxing, like the De La Hoya kind of side of it.
I don't know why
he's already more popular than like 90% of the active boxers.
Yeah. But if you look at his boxing, his record and all that, you shouldn't be giving him that much applause, dude.
We can. He's not established yet.
He doesn't have the record.
Yeah, he doesn't have the
record. He's pretty established for a 21-year-old.
Yeah,
I mean, all the fights that he's
people forget people's ages.
Well, Devin Haney's 21. Teofimo Lopez is 20.
Who have they fought?
Who has Ryan Garcia fought?
Nobody. None of them have fought nobody.
You're telling
what are you arguing?
Wait, hold
They're 21. Of course, they're not going to fight anybody yet.
Time out.
I think you become the face of boxing.
Time out, Chris.
Like I think that would change. Like, say for example, had Tank fought Ryan, I think that would all change like that.
Yeah. I think you need that crossover fight.
And the thing is that in boxing you don't have that. They're gonna ride the coattails of whatever fighter they have, like Canelo, the Ryan, You know what I mean? They're gonna ride that into as long as they can because they're a business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From our perspective, throw them to the wolves. Let's go.
That's exactly. Throw them to the wolves. That's what I've been telling these guys.
My thing is like that's what I've been talking to Ray Rodis, with Red Boxing Promotions. You know, and from what I've been hearing is that they want to have more fair fights. Like, what is the point of having a sport if you're gonna kind of, in a sense, cherry pick your opponents on either side? You know what I mean? Like, we all wanted to see the Mayweather-Pacquiao a long time ago. Yeah. Not whenever you want it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not give the fans what they want? Because that's what they want to see.
That's been the problem of boxing for the past,
exactly.
12 years, 13 years.
And that's part of what gave me the bad taste in my mouth of boxing, was because it's like you get a fighter that's already out of his prime, and then finally you throw him to the guy that's in his prime. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, why put them together when you need to put them together? Yeah. You know, who cares if they get a loss? Right. I would prefer to have a fight with two fighters that are 10-4 that are they're gonna bang and they're gonna have a fight, and even if it's technical, I don't care. Like, if it's technical, you know, if they're gonna box and they're gonna put up a fight from both sides, and it's even if it's an even fight. I mean, if it's a draw, it's a draw. Then that just means that their skill set is at that close point. Yeah. It's pretty close. But when you have, like, as a photographer, being in the back, when I see the A side and I see the B side, bro, it's saddening. Bro. It's disgusting sometimes. What I see, I seen it in Mexico, and it made me want to throw up, bro. Yeah. I was shooting a fight. I stopped shooting the fight.
Damn.
That's how bad it was. I felt so bad for one of the fighters that I stopped shooting. Because it's like it's not fair, man. Not fair. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure there's enough people that you can create these interesting, great fights and still have that money value behind it. You know what I mean? Why go 40-0? You know what I mean? And only make money for yourself. But what about everybody else? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's what De La Hoya was talking about. How, you know, the Mayweather era is gone. Now you can have interesting fights. You know what I'm saying? Now you have fights where you already you know it's not
getting there.
You know,
I mean, Jared Hurd against J. Rock Williams is a perfect example of that. Like, Hurd could have easily said, "No, you got knocked out already. I'm not gonna fight you anymore." Yeah. But I still gave him the opportunity.
Yeah, like I seen some fights at it was at the Avalon. Merecito Gesta. I was like, what the hell? Like, he wasn't supposed to lose, and he lost. You know what I mean? The Kubos versus James the Beast Wilson. Kubos was clowning. I was surprised. I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, he was kind of just like, what's up? Come on. You know, I was just like, holy crap. There was a lot of upsets, man. I was tripping out, man. But I'd rather see a fight like that where it goes that way versus I already know who's winning. Okay. You know, I'm going to shoot A side. That's it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even as a photographer. I mean, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I'm a photographer and a fan. So, I mean, I want to see fights that are interesting, you know? Something you can take home and have a memory of, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with matchmaking, right?
Yeah.
We call fights, and we know who the red side and who the blue side are. But if you have good matchmaking, you can still get some pretty good fights.
Right.
Like, I don't think we've ever seen like such a blowout where we have felt bad for the blue corner. Yeah. Like, for the most part, even if they have bad records, they're still pretty competitive. Yeah. We've seen guys with like 17 losses, and we see them every single show because every single time they fight hard.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't think we ever had to take our headsets off, right, and walk away.
Not yet.
Yeah. The fight that I saw is the girl was wearing tennis shoes, and instead of having the pads for their breasts, you know, they had paper. And it was like basketball shorts and a regular like just
I've
a regular
seen basketball shorts.
I see why you did that.
It was so disheartening, bro. Like, I was sad, bro. Like, damn. Like, how?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
This was in Mexico.
It's a cold world, man.
Mexico,
no blanket.
Like, when we saw a heavyweight fight, remember it was a Samoan kid with the tall African American guy. I don't know if you remember that. The Samoan kid. This was at L.A. I forget the venue. It was like that hotel. Yeah. The Samoan guy was wearing basketball shorts. Yeah. And we're doing commentary, right?
It was a heavyweight fight, right?
Yeah. So to me, I don't want to like comment on that, you know, but you feel bad about it. Yeah. But it was still a competitive fight. That was the good thing about it. I think they ended in a draw. Yeah. 4-round fight. It was a draw. So, but yeah, you see those things where some guys they just use the same cornerman as the person before.
But that
they borrow some of the equipment.
That just reminds you that this type of sport is unlike any other sports. like Formula One, NBA, football, all the other sports, you can have somebody rich. You can't have somebody rich being in this sport. You know what I mean? Somebody entitled. You really have to be able to fight to get in that ring. And
Right.
sometimes you're having like tennis shoes, right? Where you have to squabble and stuff like that. But not real talk. You can't be rich for going inside the ring.
Well, one thing is going in rich, and one thing is, I mean, going in with nothing and knowing you're gonna lose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's where it's like
You're just fighting to get
your
that.
heart just
Yeah.
drops, bro,
Yeah.
because it's like, you know what I mean. Like we had our own fighter that we kind of put together her first pro fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I approached her, and she looked like a beast, man. Like she was strong, man. I mean, and she had the background already and everything. And I had asked her, I'm like, hey, do you want to go into boxing still? What's the deal? Like, what's your story?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, I still want to do it. I just kind of let off the gas a bit. And I told her, I'm like, hey, man, I go, if you want, we'll help you with whatever we can, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we got her outfit made for the fight. I got her some gloves from Adidas. I got her some Rivals for the bag. With the help of a couple of people, Mr. Guru, his podcast, he hooked it up with some gloves for her. And my buddy, Mo the barber at the Upgrade Barbershop, he sponsored her with the Rivals.
Okay.
Steve Oliveros, he sponsored her gear, her outfit for, her little hoodie and all that, for the fight. I think Fine Ink Printing, I think that's his name. He provided her two-day stay in Tijuana.
That's dope.
And he provided the shirts with her name on and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a lot of support, man. South Central Boxing and my buddy Angel Rodriguez, they helped pay for her to get her pro card. But yeah, man, we my buddy Andy trained her up, her strength and conditioning, got her up to par. We as a group, as a collective,
Yeah.
we paid for her boxing training, and we took her, man. We took her. She fought her first fight, her pro fight in Tijuana.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of like where we started. You know what I mean? So to show that support, she had her pro shoes at Pro sponsor her.
Mm-hmm.
She was ready. She had enough. Because it always brought a memory, in my head, like of that girl that I saw. You know what I mean? That just killed me, bro. Like nobody should have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
No, that's the thing with boxing now. Like, it's not just a fighter. Like, if you want to have longevity and success, you have to have a great team.
Of course.
You have to have good foundation, good people. Like, when you're having a bad day, someone that left you up and like tell you, you know what, bad day, but just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, dude, that's so important, man.
I also have a bachelor's in psychology. So
Hey, there you go.
So I was offered that moral support. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
that's what you need.
All right,
I'm
real
telling
quick. HDZ Boxing is active. on
Mr.
Instagram
Ramiro.
Live.
What's up, Ramiro?
I think Regis Prograis could be the face of boxing, USA
Regis
Boxing.
Prograis?
Regis Prograis.
And then
Okay.
they light out Ruiz #1 in her division in the USA. Hey,
Yeah.
she's a beast, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a beast.
And you'll see her, man. June 15th. Watch. You'll see. Trust me, dude. Trust me. I mean, just from talking to her, bro. Like,
No, I want to see the because we're always impressed when we call her fights.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, what are we gonna
We
see
kind of
now?
sound like Brian Kenny, huh? With
Right.
Canelo, we sound like fanboys and stuff.
Yeah.
But
will she beat me up? Just kidding. I'm gonna take her to her sparring, bro.
we're trying to get her on the podcast, but the schedules just haven't worked
Right.
out.
Yeah.
But
Now, the last fight that I
Yeah.
saw her, I was like, man, they got to stop this fight. Like, it's just brutal.
Just imagine just what she's gonna be like now, dude. So I'm excited, bro. Like, seriously, I'm excited because when she came in and she was, she kind of broke it down. She kind of told me, like, this is what I was running my mile at. This is how many miles I was running. And she kind of gave me some details, and she's like, now I'm past that.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to Ramiro right before I got here, and Ramiro said that he's like, yeah, man, she seems happy. Like, she seems faster, stronger, and happy. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
The happy
That-
fighter's the
yeah.
dangerous fighter.
Yeah, because that to me means, everybody's kind of doing their job,
yeah,
and what happens with that is it seems to me that there's less stress on the body, because if your body is working at 100%, you're not gonna feel that like you know what I'm saying. Your mind, everything's firing, bro.
Yeah, but the whole happy thing is the mental part. That's the
Right.
hardest part.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. The cognitive part. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, you're if your body is at 100% functioning 100%, and you know what I mean, you don't have those lagging body parts, or you know what I'm saying. When your body is firing,
Yeah.
you have that energy. You're awake. So everything is firing, bro. That's when you gotta watch out.
That's what I told these guys. Like when I did the Long Beach Marathon, the 18 mile, I was done. My mind was just like, flying in the air. I just want to quit already.
Yeah. See, she has a lot to fight for. You know, she has kids and stuff. So, and you know, people that care about her. So I mean, she's, you know, yeah, a lot of people rooting for her. So
Yeah.
she has that motivation.
Yeah, no,
confidence.
every time we call her fights, her crowd is usually the biggest, the
Oh,
most
yeah.
like the most boisterous.
Looks
loud.
like a quinceañera, huh? Yeah, the mariachi come out. You have the people in dresses. It's a party.
Yeah. Well, this is gonna be at the Pico Rivera Sports Arena, so it's gonna be a lot bigger venue. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have, it's pretty cool, man. I did the last one, so
No, okay.
That's dope.
Y'all need commentators?
For real,
actually,
huh?
yeah, we could probably set it up, dude. I mean,
Hey.
There
yeah,
you go.
that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, we're all right. We won't
Chris
sound like fanboys.
The last time she beat me up was
Sound like Dave Chappelle. You guys got any of those comments?
It's funny.
That's good.
All right, we're approaching the 11th and 12th round. Any last things that you guys want to plug or?
Last words.
Oh, Deontay Wilder.
Deontay Wilder.
Yes, this is an interesting topic.
All right, so what round? Let's put it like that.
That's disrespect.
That's a heavyweight fight. I'm not even gonna
Let's
bother.
start with our
It's not
guess.
gonna go to 12th round.
What is your prediction on Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Brazil this Saturday?
I don't know, honestly, man, because I've seen Dominic fight before.
He is 20-1.
Yes.
His only losses to Anthony Joshua. He
Right.
has 18 KOs.
I think, I mean,
Sounds cool, huh?
yeah, right. It's like, no, for real. The way I see it is, if he boxes Deontay Wilder and he eliminates that freaking baseball bat,
Yeah,
then
right.
he has a chance, bro.
Alabama?
Yeah. Because you know, with the fight with Tyson Fury, dude, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you eliminate that wild overhand right, or you know what I mean? Like, you eliminate those punches and you box him, you smother him. I mean, Dominic Brazil is a big dude. You know what I mean?
big.
So if he imposes that weight on him, if he imposes, you know what I mean? And you know, if he's able to fight on the inside like that and hurt
Yeah, I
him,
was gonna say.
look what happened with Ortiz, man.
Yeah.
Had the refs not stepped in when Ortiz was beating him up,
Yeah.
I think he would have beat him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
agree.
think that was money involved right there, and you know, what I
True
mean?
story.
So, you know, like I said, man, styles make fights, and if Dominic Brazil picks that right style that day, I mean, I don't see why he can't beat him. You know what I mean? I think it's more psychological for a lot of fighters, and you know, look at was it Amanda Nunes versus was it Rousey or who? Like,
Yeah.
Rousey was mouthing,
Mouthing.
you know what I mean?
They
said
try to
the
talk
one-
themselves into the fight.
Right, yeah, you know what I mean? And she was calm, collected. You know what I mean? And I've noticed Deontay Wilder's been pretty loud, you know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
loud.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Loud, man.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's always loud, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They just, yeah.
Yeah. To me with Deontay.
All right, real quick, what do you guys think? How many rounds do you give
Yeah.
it? I asked for predictions, and you guys are over here talking about.
Here's the thing about Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder has the footwork of a newborn
You guys
giraffe, dude.
answer.
Oh my god.
Oh, damn.
Man, you gotta put that clip where he crosses his legs. Oh.
He has
Oh,
the
damn.
footwork of a newborn giraffe, dude. So if he could outbox him just like Tyson Fury, then maybe he has a chance. But honestly, though, I'm scared for Dominic Brazil.
So how
dude.
many rounds?
This is the
Let's
fight.
answer the question.
Let me answer this question, dude. This is the fight that
That'd be
Deontay
gross.
Wilder can actually catch a body, dude. This is
So
the
how
fight.
many
If he
rounds?
wants to kill somebody, this is the fight right here. This is the fight. How many rounds? Probably 2 rounds, dude.
What
What's
do you
your
think?
answer?
Damn.
How many rounds?
I'm gonna say.
Answer the question,
I'm
come
gonna
on.
say.
We answer our own questions the way we want,
Yeah,
Jay.
just answer, man.
I'm gonna say 5 or 6, but yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
count
Give us
out.
your
I
analysis.
wouldn't count out. I wouldn't count out Brazil.
I'm saying
But-
4. What do you think?
I say the most 8.
8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying
Only
4.
because I mean, Dominic's a big dude, and he's, you know what I mean? He's not just going to be like, okay, go ahead and hit me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know Deontay Wilder's going to go in there and just start swinging his bat
Yeah.
and try to take him out, because after
What
4
he's
rounds.
done in his last 40 fights.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
because after those 4 rounds, it's,
Yeah.
Deontay's a different dude, man.
Well, you
So-
think it's crazy? Do you think it's crazy if I pray for Dominic Brazil to be alive? Because
yeah, a little bit because it's. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it still is boxing. I mean,
Yeah,
to really catch a body, I mean, you would have to take a lot of punishment to the dome.
Max Kellerman told him,
You
"What do
gotta-
you mean by catching a body? You know what that means, Max."
You know what I
Man,
mean?
with
Like the one I was worried about was I think Sterven.
Beat the count
When
under
When
4 rounds.
he was just pounding him in the head.
Yeah.
That was the one I
sec-
thought he
yeah,
would
the
have caught
first
a body.
round.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
he sat him down even with like it was like a kind of like a hook straight.
Yeah.
Like a Mortal
Oh,
Kombat.
yeah, dude, like
Double
a
ACCB.
yeah, fucking Ryu, fucking uppercut and shit.
yeah. The thing
I mean,
with,
at that fight,
Beat
yeah.
the count says 4 rounds. Under 4 rounds.
Yeah, he's been
actually.
too.
I say under 6, but
Yeah,
Uh,
I say
you
2
can
rounds.
catch that fight.
Yeah,
I'm
this,
actually scared.
Yeah.
this Saturday on Showtime.
Yeah.
Probably tune in. We didn't talk about Miguel Berchelt though against Francisco Vargas. Anything to say about that?
Miguel Berchel's another beast.
He's
man.
another beast.
That guy's a
Yeah.
that guy's like
phenom, bro.
Yeah, he's a established like
Vargas
champion.
is a beast.
Vargas is a
And
beast,
he
but I think
beat
he's,
him twice.
yeah, I just think Berchelt is young. I mean, obviously he's younger, fresher. He's just under the radar where he's not
Yeah.
a name outside of Mexico, like where people don't know how, you know.
Yeah, I want Berchelt to fight Lomachenko. That's
Oh
the
yeah,
fight.
that would be the fight. I think
Yeah.
I asked for that fight like 2 years ago.
I honestly don't think that would be a fun fight.
It wouldn't be a fun fight. It would
would
be
not
very
a fun fight
¿Por qué?
because
would be-
Berchelt is not a technical.
yeah.
Berchelt is more of a like I'm gonna fucking swing until I can't swing anymore. You know what I mean? He has that stamina, bro, and he's if I you know
You don't
'cause
think Berchelt can try to get him out of his comfort zone, trying to fight a different type of style?
it's gonna be hard, bro, because of the foot movement and everything.
Easier
Loma.
said than done.
Yeah, because what the thing is, when you have what Berchelt has, and you have what Loma has, Loma you pretty much you eliminate that. You know what I mean? How they say, you know, what is that saying that they say? Timing beats speed and all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's one of those cases where Loma would be more tact.
Oh. Yeah, that's the case with Gary Russell, right?
Yeah.
When he fought him.
Yeah, because look at Rigondeaux.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Loma.
Yeah, there
I
you
mean,
go.
I never thought Loma would have took out Rigondeaux, made him look like that.
Yeah.
Ever. I never. You know what I mean? The way Rigondeaux did Nonito Donaire, dude.
Yeah.
I would have never thought. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So, I think that would happen with Berchelt and Loma, where Loma would pretty much shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He wouldn't give him those angles. I mean,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
yeah.
you say a shutout by Loma?
No, I don't say a shutout, but I just think it would be a very boring fight. It would be a really roughing fight because the way Loma is in turning and angles and stuff, and Berchelt coming forward,
Yeah.
you'd be a lot of clashing, boom, boom, you know,
Yeah.
shoulders, and you know what I mean. It wouldn't be a fun fight.
Mm.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, with me, like outside of Mikey, I thought Berchelt would have been like the most, I don't want to say competitive, but the next person that could probably give him something to think about. Again, nobody's going to beat Loma, in my opinion. But outside of Mikey, that's the guy around his weight division that's the most accomplished that can give him something to think
Of course,
about.
yeah. In that sense, yeah. But just the fact of, you know, the styles and the technicality of Loma versus the ruggedness of Berchelt,
Yeah.
I don't see it playing out too well.
Yeah, with the Berchelt Vargas fight,
6-round TKO.
6-round TKO. You kind of Vargas was a pretty good fighter in his prime. He's a little over, you know, that 30 mark, and it's just Berchelt just being more, you know, having more stamina. Oh, that's a nice shot.
I did a Berchelt versus Mickey Roman. That's why I was saying what I was saying, because
He saw it.
yeah,
It was ringside.
I was
He saw it
ringside,
through
yeah.
his lenses.
Yeah. it was okay, I'm gonna move, boom, boom, boom. It was just constant, you know what I mean? And Loma doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my bad for interrupting.
No, you're good. Very good.
You ever been in the
I don't
moment
even know where we're at.
where you questioning the judges' scorecards? Like, what type of fight were you saying?
Too, yeah. The Morales versus Ryan Garcia. I was shooting the fight, and I'm looking over. This guy's not doing nothing. He's playing a video game on his phone, bro. I swear to God, and I should have took a picture of it. To this day, I'm pissed off at myself because
You should have took a picture of
I
that.
should have took a picture of him. He
Yeah.
was talking to me the whole time.
Oh, no
And I was
way.
like, yeah, dude. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be like, you know, scoring the fight? Like, what the what
Yeah.
are you talking to me for, dude? Like, let me shoot, bro. Like, leave me alone. Like, you know
This
what I mean?
doesn't surprise me. It comes from Golden Boy Promotions, so they pay the judges.
Well, that, I mean, I don't want to say that.
I say it.
I don't want to say
I was like, I don't
that.
want
You
to
don't
say
have
all
to say it.
that shit.
I kind of have some gigs.
said
If I'm under contract.
I said it. I don't give
If
a
you
shit.
watch our podcast, they both hate Canelo and Golden Boy. So.
Oh, okay.
We don't hate Canelo. We already talked about this.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't hate Canelo.
in a sense,
I,
bro, the
I
way
might as well say you hate Terrence Crawford.
and Top
So
Raver. I'm just kidding.
all of them. I hate all of
There
them.
you go.
I'm just kidding.
See?
Oh damn. But yeah, man. I mean, like the Canelo thing. I mean, guy, he knows how to fight, man.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the head movement, all that, dude. I was surprised, because that was something I haven't. You know, I've seen it before.
You've seen it in
But
flashes, but
at
not like
this level, at this level, the way when he was fighting Jacobs,
Yeah.
especially being the bigger dude that Jacobs was,
Mhm.
you should have just
Yeah.
plowed right through him.
Mhm.
I mean, but he, like Paul over here says, he's not the top the top middleweight.
Not even
I was
close.
tripping out.
You saw that?
Yeah. So I was watching it before I came. That's why I started laughing. I was tripping out.
He's a top 3 middleweight in the end.
His definition of top middleweight is you gotta be top 3.
I'm just saying.
okay.
I'm just
And-
saying.
and
Who has
look,
the,
for everybody else,
who
he's
has
up there.
Demetrius
You know what's funny,
Andrade
though?
beat?
For
dude?
everybody else,
Who has
gotta be
Demetrius
look.
Andrade
Hey,
beat?
let me talk, dude. You know what's funny? They actually agree with me without even noticing. Because if you watch the episode, they agree with me that 4 guys could possibly beat Jacobs in that middleweight.
Well, I didn't say a goddamn thing in that podcast. I didn't.
It was funny.
But hold on. Who
but
has?
but
Chris,
that's his definition of top.
But who has
top
Demetrius
3. To
Andrade
me,
beat,
it's like
Gio?
top. You're
Chris,
top 5.
Nobody. We already know.
Exactly,
Dude,
you
relax.
see?
All right, go ahead.
There you go.
What'd you say?
No, I'm just saying like your definition of top middleweight is top 3. Mine is top middleweight, top 5. Everybody has different definitions.
Oh, yeah, because everybody has their
We
top
should see my
5,
top
their
11.
10, their
Oh no, I'm gonna use Sean's
You
logic.
want me to tell you my top 11?
Hold on. I'm gonna use Sean's logic because he's probably tuned in. Jacobs is probably moving up to 168, so you
He
can't
doesn't
consider
count?
him a
So
middleweight
he
anymore.
does-
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't count.
I remember that too.
He
He's
doesn't
like,
count.
He doesn't count after
he's
Sunday.
like-
He doesn't count.
After Sunday,
I saw that. Yeah,
the
that's
sun
funny.
came up. He's 168 now.
That's funny.
So where did you rank Jacobs? Top 3? Top 5?
Honestly, I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
I just know that if you really go back and look at it, Triple G should have fought Jacobs to vindicate himself as him really beating Jacobs.
Right. Did you feel that was a close fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I saw Jacobs winning the fight. You know what I mean? So that
Interesting.
when he went in and he fought Canelo, they did the same thing to Jacobs as they did to
You heard
supposedly
that?
Triple G. You know what I'm saying? Like I there's certain things in boxing that you feel that they're not right.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
me,
mean?
it was a really close fight. It could have been a draw. Could have been Jacobs by 1 round, Triple G by 1 round. It was like that. There was a bunch of
yeah.
toss-up rounds.
So you had
Oh,
Jacobs winning at least 7 rounds.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, well, so check this out. Like,
Everybody has their own get out eyes.
like the first Triple G fight with Canelo, right at the 4th round, I already called draw. I stopped watching it. I swear to God. I have friends that'll tell you that after the 4th round, I said it's a draw. They're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? They're like, what do you mean? They're like, what do you mean? How do you know? Like, really? And I'm like, trust me.
Have you ever watched Pacquiao Marquez 1?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, I mean, it wasn't based on any of that kind of information. It was just I
saw
just
the
knew.
patterns and all that.
I
right?
saw
the patterns.
This
and
fucking algorithm.
And the biggest reason was because, for me, I was looking at it from a business standpoint.
Yeah, of course.
Money. You take the bout, or you cause a draw.
Yeah.
You take the bouts, then you either give them back or you let the fighter win them and keep the money. You know what I'm saying? Triple G's already pretty much kind of on his way out. So for me, I was like, the way to make money on this fight is to cause a draw. The first one a draw.
Yeah.
Every fight.
Second one you give it to Canelo, and then the third one you go either way.
Yeah.
If you want to make more money, you take the belts from Canelo, you give him to Triple G, and then you get him another fight.
Yeah.
That's the money. You follow the money.
Yeah.
So after the 4th round, I was like, dude, this is a draw.
Because it was kind of close. Big
Well,
deal.
it was, well, just the way they were talking, the way I was like, this is gonna be a draw. So after that, when I heard people saying on the second fight, oh, that Triple G won, or that it was that they're okay with the draw, the second fight, Canelo to me clearly won the fight because
I agree.
if you grab all those people that are saying that the first fight was a draw, Canelo came forward the whole second fight and put a beating on him. You see his face; he tore him up. So to me, he won that second fight. The first one, I'll take a draw, but that Triple G won the first fight. No,
It's funny
You
that
don't
you
think he won
say
the
that.
I don't think he won the first one.
It was funny that you say that because they made a whole campaign with Jordan saying no draw after the first fight. But then Triple G fans are complaining that the second was a draw. So
Triple G
it's
fans
pretty
always
funny.
complain though.
Everybody has their own get out
Hey,
eyes.
it's usually the one that can't spell Triple G. It's just Triple E. You know, it's like, and that's the other thing that I didn't like was the fact that there's, they call it Mexican style. He barely speak English, let alone Spanish.
First of all,
It's not
Triple
a-
G can actually speak English more than Canelo. So
They're talking about Spanish.
But we're
10-9.
talking. But we're talking about Mexican,
Okay.
the Mexican style.
Mhm.
So for me, it was more.
Telling
of-
I Triple G fanboys here.
it
Gotta
was
be careful.
And you're the Canelo fanboy. Over there.
no, and don't get me wrong, dude. I mean, I love boxing just in general.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
but
Most people can't put that aside though. They're
right,
personal.
like Triple G. Who was really Triple G before he fought Jacobs? Nobody really knew him. So how come they don't give him as much shit as they give Canelo?
And that's how you
That's what I
distinguish.
tried to tell you last week. Remember?
And that's how you that's how you distinguish casual fans right there.
Yeah.
What you said right now. Who was Triple G before Jacobs?
He fought some.
I mean,
I always used to give
We know that.
HBO shit for that because they try to sell him as like the top pound for pound.
right.
Well, they
And
try
he
to
was-
sell him as
he
the
was
white
in
hope.
Yeah, and not only that, but if you want better proof, look at the stuff of when he fought Vanes. Who showed up? Nobody.
Yeah.
You got Canelo fight.
Yeah.
What
Were
was
you
it?
there?
We were there.
These guys showed.
No, I wasn't there.
They moved up our seats like to the.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
funny. I see that.
somebody
They're
was
like,
there.
all right, everybody can
Yeah,
move down now.
yeah.
It's funny.
Come on, free hot dogs.
But you know what I mean? You get Canelo versus what was his name? Cook? No, not Cook.
Liam Smith or
versus me.
Canelo versus the guy
Amir
that,
Khan.
no, the one right before Jacobs.
Fielding.
Fielding, yeah.
Oh man, that one. Don't
I
even
just
get
named a
me
bunch of
started,
like
man.
mandatories right now.
How much money didn't they make off that
Yeah.
versus Vanes versus Triple G?
Oh yeah,
Nobody
it's 'cause he has-
showed up.
It's because he has a whole country.
Yeah,
But-
he has
but-
a country.
but you know what I'm
It's
saying, though?
privilege, so
It's
he's
like-
Mexican, dude. Come on.
That's the excuse that
You're not
everyone
Mexican?
says.
Oh my god.
Just kidding.
That's
Damn.
I think the funniest excuse because like what other Mexican fighters really like selling pay-per-views or making that much money, right? That's the excuse they want to say. Oh, he's Mexican, but who else is like creating that much buzz?
Yeah.
Not
That's
even guys
Mexican.
like
No.
not even guys like Leo Santa Cruz like can fill
Great
out
buzz.
these big arenas or.
But
Right.
if you look at history, the Puerto Ricans and Mexicans have always been the ones paying pay-per-view and selling pay-per-view.
Well, they're not doing it now, so.
You know? Well, that's because you said pay-per-view is dead already. So it's a different landscape.
Yeah. It's,
But they will still pay for Canelo.
And people will pay to watch Mikey Garcia too. We're gonna find out soon.
Yeah. So you're saying the deal like you didn't like that they were marketing Triple G as Mexican style when he had nothing.
yeah, because I think that had more to do with his trainer, Abel.
Hmm.
I mean, because
I think it was able marketing.
it was just it was a way to sell him, bro.
He doesn't even
Because-
fight Mexican style, does
Yeah.
he?
I
He
mean,
threw what 5 body shots in the first fight.
yeah. If you want to,
And
yeah,
the
if you want to
second
get
fight-
like technical like that, yeah. Chavez is Mexican style. That's body shot. He
I guess
chopped
they-
the tree down from the bottom,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. That
I guess you could say he didn't fight that old school Mexican style that first fight, but yeah, I guess they want to connect Mexican style to aggressive like seek and destroy type.
right.
Regardless what happened, he did have Mexican fans in the end.
Of course.
You know
Oh,
what I
he
mean?
does.
And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that was
yeah.
probably the end game.
But so
from all of it.
does Deontay Wilder. So
Right.
does all these other fighters. I mean, that just the demographic doesn't matter, or,
Yeah.
the ethnicity or whatever. That doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody has like look at the UK fighters. We
I
have
gave him a
bunch
pass
of-
because he had a Mexican trainer, so I was like, okay, you get a pass.
I didn't.
But even Abel, like he speaks more English than Spanish.
Right. He was. That's why for me, I was just kind of like, what? Like it's more for me. It was just more of a selling point.
Yeah, it's
And I don't
Simulate.
like that. Like you
Yeah,
know what I mean. For me,
simulate.
anyway. I mean, if
I think
Nah,
I think
I agree with
Canelo.
you 100%.
No, I think Canelo's already divisive enough for whatever reason. I think they lashed on to that Mexican style to, connect with the fans that already don't like him. So
yeah, like Canelo, no matter how you do it, if he fights on Cinco de Mayo, people are gonna be.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
gonna show
Oh, yeah.
up. That don't matter who.
Yeah.
Because you got all these, just like Ryan Garcia has all his fans, like
Yeah.
little
The
the
fanboys.
18s, 20s,
The
those,
Instagram fans.
yeah, all the Instagram people.
The
I mean,
Hollisters.
same thing with Canelo, man. You create a fight with the guy down the street. I mean, they're gonna show
I'm
up.
telling you,
You know?
that's true.
Yeah,
That's who he
they're
fights.
gonna
dude.
show up. Well, it's not who he fights, but
I'm just
some
saying, if you
go-
look at the records, he's fighting guys like below his weight
I mean-
classes, like 2 times.
well, I mean, but I mean, from if you look at
For
it, I mean, because
I think-
I mean, I know where he's going with it.
yeah,
I
he
know where
fights a
he's
good
going.
guy, then he
'Cause
fights a bad one. I think
I know where you're going
balances
because
out.
I feel he has a bias. I know you.
No,
I'm dumb. No, it seems like it because
No,
it seems like you're
now
a
look,
triple
because
more.
Watch our very first
But,
show.
but check it out. But check it out. But check this out. I completely understand it. Why? Because a lot of these fighters, like I've always said, like if you're a 160-pound fighter, why are you dropping all the way down to 130 or 140? Like why? Like you're getting away from something.
Yep.
Fight at your weight.
Yep.
I've always said
That's
that.
why I never gave
I've-
Jacobs credit.
Well, not only, yeah,
He's a
especially
cruiserweight fighting at
People,
middleweight.
yeah.
hold up. People actually say he was weighing 204 pounds against the Canelo fight. Just to let you know.
I was hearing 180 something.
I heard 204.
And
That was-
Supposedly said 186.
Yeah.
but
I
we
heard
don't know how
something.
official
Right.
his numbers are.
I heard 204.
Yeah, and that pissed me off too because you're not gonna come in at the 160 mark.
Yeah.
Your own manager says we're gonna
Yeah.
pay it.
Did you saw the weigh-in, Jacobs? You're like, like celebrating.
Dude, I was
won the fight.
like, damn, dude, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, like, it's just dumb. Like, and like, trust me, I know what you mean by like,
Yeah.
you know, he's fighting people at different, but everybody does it, bro. Like, just like steroids, everybody does it. I can almost guarantee that everybody does it, bro. They just know how to get away with it.
You could use the same argument for every single fighter out there.
Right.
But people pick and choose.
Yeah, because even the fighters that say that they're not juicing or nothing, they're still finding the way to cheat somehow, whether it's below the threshold or whether it's let me take these extra supplements.
Yeah.
No matter, they're doing something because they're just imagine you know me and you fighting, bro. Like if I'm fucking juicing, I'm to my tempo. I'm fucking you're gonna do something to try to
Balance
that out. You know what I'm saying? You're going up against elite fighters that have the money for science, that have the money to have these guys to really, really change the molecular structure or whatever it is that they're taking to help them out because they have the money. You're gonna tell me you're not gonna do that because you're gonna go in the ring and say I'm a sober athlete because I just believe in being sober.
Right.
And you go in there and you get your head caved in. Like it makes no sense,
Yeah.
bro.
But it's nothing regarding bias. What I'm talking about is just when you look at other athletes in that same weight class, they're fighting fighters in that same weight, right? Where they're not picking and choosing somebody outside where there's 2 divisions low before there. Everybody fights at a certain weight, but like when you look at Teofimo, Devaney, interesting that they're fighting it, or Shakur Stevenson, they're fighting fighters.
But when you got the other guy taking the fight, to me that just
What do you mean by that?
well, yeah, like if you're coming to me and telling me
You're not obligated.
you're
to
not
fight him.
obligated to fight.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming to me and tell you want to fight at my way, hey, by all means, if I'm gonna make money, why not?
Mikey
Yeah.
Garcia.
And you know what I'm saying? If I offer you a fight and you take it,
But that's what I'm saying. People give a lot of credit because of that perspective, but not from that type of angle as far as who they're fighting at, what a specific weight class during that time. That's where I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it from the bias. Everybody fights a different, like Jacobs, right? He's supposed to be fighting at 175 or 168.
yeah,
But when you look at that from a young, like right now, compared to the other boxers like Teofimo and Devin, they're not doing that right now. They're at least staying
well,
that
you
in
know,
one.
but you know why I
Kind
think
of are.
I just think because physically I don't think they can do that much as a bigger fighter like
Yeah.
that, like Jaime Munguia. Jaime
can
Munguia,
float.
Yeah, Jaime.
he's a six foot something,
Yeah.
6'3",
He's killing his body.
and he's coming down to what
The 154.
yeah, 154.
What do you think about his past performance?
Well, for the record, his past 2 performances that he didn't look as spectacular or as good as he should or whatever, he wasn't in camp with us. The camp right before that, he was with us, and he destroyed the guy. So a lot of it, from what I hear, and it's only hearsay, I don't know, but it had a lot to do with his training and his diet. And we had no clue what happened, what he was doing or what.
It looks like him.
Yeah.
But I heard that he was not really following what he should have been following. So I don't know if I have no idea. All I know is that when he came, he was in camp with us, and he fought Brandon Cook, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a totally different Jaime because when he fought Liam Smith, he came in.
Yeah.
You know, he was in camp with us, I think maybe 2-3 weeks. So he didn't have that full full camp with us, and he didn't, you know what I mean, he wasn't able to really you know,
Excel.
you know what I mean. But when after he came back to camp with us and he fought Brandon Cook, I mean, I was just like, holy crap, like this guy's a freaking monster, you know what I mean. And he went in there and you could tell, like, he was his feet work, he was a lot lighter on his feet. He was that just pop, you know what I mean. And I was just like, god damn, like he took him out.
Yeah.
And this other fight that he took with the Japanese fighter, I forgot his name, but
In Inoue, yeah. He was not.
he
with
wasn't with us in camp.
You.
And I even heard somebody, I don't know if it was, I'm trying to remember, somebody either in the comments or somebody said that he didn't eat for like 18 hours.
What?
That's how bad his diet was. That
Yeah.
he wasn't following his diet or anything, and that he hadn't ate for like 18 hours or 24 hours, dude. And I was like, holy crap, like, that'll take a toll on you. You know what I mean?
Now, how does that work? Do you get I'm guessing he approaches you guys, right, to work with you, or how does that work? How
Well,
does
he'll
off and on?
he'll call us or whatever. Like anybody who wants to work with us will either DM me, my buddy Mark, Andy directly, and they'll just be like, hey, you know what? How do I do it to get into camp with you guys or whatever? And then we just set up a date for them to come down and check it out, and that's it. But with Jaime, it was since we were already working with Panchito. Panchito kind of talked to him about it because Panchito felt that he really got a lot out of the training, and he told Jaime about his training and everything, and they wanted to know about it, and they were pretty skeptical in the beginning as well. They were like, one of Jaime's guys kind of he told me, like, it was so funny because he said, what the hell is that for? Like that shit doesn't work, because he was traditional. He had that traditional way of training. So he said, what the hell is that? That shit don't work. And I'm like, well, everything's measured here. We measure everything to make sure that they get 100% at least, somewhere in the area to what they can really perform at. And he was really skeptical. Then after they started saying that they can feel the power. They could see his speed. They were like, man. So then they brought him back after the Liam fight. They brought him back, and we trained him up for a full camp with Brandon Cook, and he just demolished him.
Yeah, he looked good in that one.
Yeah, he looked great, man. So
yeah, for the fight against Inoue, and the fight just recent,
Dennis Hogan.
Yeah,
Dennis Hogan.
He didn't look like the best, but then again, he also had two really, really good opponents that were not gonna go away. And
Tough guys, man.
if you wanna.
He's fighting consistently too, because that was about a month apart, right?
I was gonna say those are the wrong fights to not be like
fully.
Yeah, because those two guys,
you can't take them lightly, man.
Yeah. Again, these are guys that don't have big names, I guess you can say, in the boxing game, but these again are fighters that could be the most dangerous,
right?
Because they have nothing to lose.
And you saying that doesn't surprise me now, from watching Jaime again, and that tells the story now for Jaime.
And even Cepeda versus Ramirez, I was hearing people say, no, Ramirez is gonna knock him out. Ramirez is gonna knock him out, because they were saying that he was gonna pretty much bully him and get him tire him out and all that. And Cepeda, man, he went in there and he did what he did. You know what I mean? And I told a couple people, I'm like, watch what's gonna happen. Yeah. I go, he's been in camp here with my buddy Andy. Andy's, man, I saw his progression, man. You know when you do that, the hand movement, dude. I saw him on a video, dude. He was just like, I was like, God damn, that fool's getting fast, man. And he's shredded, bro. And he's not struggling. You know what I mean? That when he first came to camp, he was saying like that they were saying that he was worried about 4 to 6 rounds. That he was scared because he was getting gassed out a little bit after 4 to 6 rounds. So when he came to camp, Andy, I guess he corrected that. So when he fought in Tecate, he battered the guy, bro. Like the guy hadn't been knocked down in I don't know how long. He knocked him down like 3 or 4 times. And then after the fight, we all walk out, and he's like, he tells my buddy Andy, he's like, hey coach, he said, I can go another 4 to 12 rounds. And my buddy Andy was like, oh shit. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I feel great, dude. He's like, I can still go another 4 to 8 rounds, whatever, And I was like, damn, So
Chavez Sr. said all he did was hit the heavy bag and spar like 15 rounds throughout his career, which is crazy. But that reminds me also of Chicana boxing, right? You know her, Lily.
Yeah, Lily.
She put up some videos of when she went there, watching Jaime Munguia train and stuff. And Jaime, we're talking about it too. He looked kind of timid, because everything was so new to him. It was just like everything, all these new exercises.
The first day, he looked like a baby, bro.
Yeah,
I swear to God,
he looked confused, like unsure of himself.
Yep.
Yeah, something that we talked about is like you have to know what your fighter's comfortable with. Like, why change something that's not broken, or why make?
Well, that comes with. I would say more on the sense of the boxing training, strength and conditioning. No. I think because the strength and conditioning, you're basically developing new techniques and new ways of pulling out more power, more speed, more elasticity, and I mean, just a lot of different things. You know what I mean? And that's where we come along, where we're trying to change the whole stigma or whatever that that strength and conditioning has, because You know, you talk to like even Robert Alcazar was like, oh, I don't want that shit. Like, you know what I mean? And I hear a lot of people say, oh yeah, just go, you know, run more miles or do more stairs or lift this or lift that
Or chase more chickens.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When they don't realize that, you know what I mean? And a perfect example was Leo when he came into camp for the first time. He was saying that he was gassing out. He felt like he was hitting a wall. And he felt like he wasn't exceeding anymore. He felt like he was just boom, he plateaued, and that was it. So he came and saw him, you know, Andy. Andy started getting boom, started going up and up, and he's been with us I think now for like 6 camps, or 6 or 7 camps, probably even more than that. And he spars. I guess he said I think like 15 rounds. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's old school.
Yeah.
Damn.
But he doesn't gas out, man. You seen when he what did he fight? What's the name? I forgot his name. I was there.
His last fight at the Microsoft
Yeah.
Theater? I forget the name.
They were just going at it, bro. Like blah 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 blah. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah, I was there. It was crazy. The last minute.
Yeah. I got shots of that too, and I wasn't even there to shoot. It was pretty cool. But yeah, man, you're gonna see a lot of the fighters that we're gonna have, man. You're gonna have a lot more exciting fights, man.
Yeah.
More speed, more power.
Forget
more
Snack, right?
pop.
Or guess-
For what?
Snack, forget him.
Oh, well, that's a little whole different story right there, man.
Yeah.
Because Snack is more, I think, more on the supplement level, where it's like they incorporate the supplement with the training to kind of.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
From what I hear, it's like borderline steroids, I guess. The guy, I heard the guy's a chemist, right, or something like that.
I'm not surprised by that.
He was involved with some controversy.
Right. I'm just like I said. It's all hearsay. I don't even know. I'm
That we all know it's
not
true.
talking shit or nothing. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, 12th round. Anything else you guys want to plug before we get out of here? Before we sign out?
just
Where can they follow you?
at Al Mejia Photography on Instagram, OD Wheelman at Twitter, Luis Mejia at Facebook, Combat Sports Collective. That's where we're pretty much all are. Kind of, you'll see a little bit of. I mean, it's still in the beginning stages, but you'll see some of the fighters, whatever there, and then you'll go on the lives.
Where can people buy the shirts?
Straight
Straight from you?
Yeah, just DM. Yeah, just send us a DM, because we're working on that's the next step. We're working on Amazon, a storefront possibly, and then for the most part right now, I mean, I already almost ran out of shirts. People were like, "Hey man, I want one. You know, it's crazy, man. It's been a blessing, to say the least.
Are you thinking about eventually putting some of the photos that you've taken on shirts, or
Oh
not
yeah,
really?
yeah. I got a couple things in the works right now that I'm pretty sure. I'm almost 100% sure that people are gonna be like, "Oh shit," because some of the photos that I have, and then the access to fighters that I have, and just different things that we have in general. We have something in the works, and I think people are gonna really like it.
Yeah. You have any images of anybody against the ropes? Could work together, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I got
What happened?
I didn't
I'm
hear
saying if he has any images of it, like any fighters against the ropes, we can work together.
right? Yeah.
that Ali picture, huh? Against the ropes.
Saddam Ali or Ali Muhammad Ali?
No.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
We'll take Saddam Ali for right now.
Just kidding.
Whatever you
He's
got.
always on the ropes.
Oh damn, that sucks. Oh
Yeah, make sure to follow
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
at Against the Ropes on Instagram, MySpace,
Hopefully,
Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff.
pray for Dominic Brazil to outbox that newborn giraffe, Deontay Wilder.
Shout out to Beat the Count. Check out his last podcast. Shout out to Luis. Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks
We
for
gotta
having
have
me,
you on
guys.
again. It was a good combo.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thank you.
My father and his friends would go to the fight.
That's it, man. Thank you for coming. Everybody that's listening, everybody that's tuning in, thank you again for being part of this show. We love hearing your questions. We will do it again next week.
And that's our season finale.
2 rounds to 1.
Attention.
All right, Luis, how do you have it?
Right. Right on, man.
Including some of the sport's most memorable bouts. Perhaps none more memorable than the third matchup between Muhammad Ali and Ken Norton at Yankee Stadium. Then in 1986, HBO Boxing decided to add a working judge to its commentary team. made his national television debut.
Well, we're going to get a judge's eye look tonight, a special feature here on HBO. We've invited Harold Lederman, who is one of the top judges in the business, just to get an unofficial but a very known perspective on how the fight is progressing.
From the very start, he was a hit.
Larry, as I see it, Trevor Berbick is ahead 106 to 103. He's the aggressor. He's landing the stronger, harder punches, doing what he has to do.
You might not often have seen him on camera, but the voice and the unvarying beginning of every slice of analysis became part of the soundtrack of modern boxing history.
Harold, how do you have it through 9? Okay, Jim. Okay, Jim. Jim, I gotta tell you. Jim, I gotta tell you. Okay, Jim, thank you. 7 rounds to 2. Gennady Golovkin. You know, Jim, I love that effective aggressiveness. Man, I love it when a guy backs the other guy up the whole fight. That's what Gennady's doing.
He had an encyclopedic knowledge of the sport that made him television's preeminent.